How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal in this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. DOJ used all its star witnesses. What will Sam Bankman-Fried's defense do now? The defense hasn't decided yet whether it will present a case. If it decides to do so, Bankman-Fried's lawyers have said it would take a week, and it could seize on statements Wang, Ellison, and Singh have made during their time on the stand. There's not too much in this, but on Monday, Singh spoke about Bankman-Fried's approach to spending that reeked of flashiness and excess, and he said that he defrauded FTX's customers and investors while also serving as a straw donor, or the name FTX would put on checks when using customer funds to make political donations. Bitcoin ETF hopes stay alive as investment giant Fidelity revises bid. The fund manager addressed a number of topics in its amendment, but largely focused on the risks associated with such a product. And way down here they get to it. There is no assurance that the use or acceptance of Bitcoin will continue to grow, said one line in an amendment. It went on to warn about the volatility of crypto markets, particularly in light of the FTX collapse. It added that continued disruption and instability in the digital asset markets as the events develop, including further declines in trading prices and liquidity of Bitcoin, could have material adverse effects on the shares of this ETF. So what they're saying is that if people keep screwing things around and manipulating the market, people aren't really going to want to invest. Analysts at Bloomberg Intelligence says there's a 90% chance that a Bitcoin ETF will get approved by January. In a report last month, Fidelity Digital Assets, the firm's digital asset arm, said Bitcoin was a superior form of money. Over on the Dixie for the daily, we are making a bounce off our EMAs. We are continuing forward. This could be a rounding bottom pattern. We would want a confirmation green candle to follow this. Our RSI is kind of flat. It wants to head up, our stochastics coming out, so they're not in an agreement right now. Over on the daily, we are starting to get rejected here on the total from our Fibonacci level. We are rolling over, breaking this EMA, so we could continue down. If we continue down from here, it is very possible we will see this pattern start to play out. Our stochastic is starting to roll over. The stochastic wants to make a bearish cross here. If that does happen, our RSI is going to continue to weaken and we could see price action continue to come out. Our VWAP is coming out, so we do have medium term selling, and our money flow is rejecting that neutral coming out as well. The momentum is starting to roll away as our VWAP's coming down to test that neutral. If the VWAP rejects here and the money flow continues down, we will maintain that bearish trend, so I would just keep a watchful eye. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we aren't quite getting above where we moved this line to, so this may end up being a resistance. If that does confirm, we could lock in this pattern and possibly see it break us down eventually. Stochastic is running up, RSI is starting to curl away. Our momentum is starting to round off as our VWAP's coming down, but we do still have this bullish momentum with the money flow being in the bullish territory. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we do have that reversal arrow from today's candle that could bring us down. Tomorrow's candle is trying to open green though, so that does want to push us forward. This isn't a big red candle like we were looking for, so we may not get that rounding top. I would look for a break of this support. If we do manage to break support, flip it to resistance, then we could trend back down. But the way it's looking right now, we could continue up and make a bounce here. Our stochastic's rolling over, RSI is going kind of flat. Our momentum does still have bearish divergence as we have lower highs on our momentum with higher highs on price. Our stochastic isn't quite doing that, we're getting slightly higher highs. Our money flow is maintaining in the bearish territory and our VWAP is coming back down. If that VWAP comes down and starts to get lower lows or consistent lows with lower highs, we could resume the downwards bearish action. Over on the daily for Bitcoin, we are rejecting our golden pocket. We are pushing away from the top of it toward our point of control. If we continue to reject this golden pocket, we will break this point of control and trend to our value area low. Our stochastic's starting to round away, RSI is starting to head out, momentum's getting lower highs, so we have bearish divergence on our momentum. Our money flow isn't quite in the bullish territory, very strong, so if it just rolls over here and breaks to the bearish side and the VWAP breaks as well, it's very possible we will see the bears resume control and the bulls will just have this little brief break to the bullish side. Over on the 4-hour, we are starting to kind of round away. We have a couple long upper shadow candles here. We have a few long lower shadows, but we are rejecting away from those, so they didn't really help push us up very much. These long upper shadows seem to have more strength right now. We are rejecting this EMA level. It's very likely we will come back down to this other EMA around that 28.1, which is also the top of this range. If we do that and break into this range, we will flirt around with this range between these EMAs, at which point if we break that range, we are likely to see a push out of the golden pocket and lower price action to fill those lower gaps we have on futures. Our momentum is rounding away, RSI is starting to drop, our stochastic is pushing out in the bullish territory, that money flow is zigzagging around in the bullish territory here, so it wants to get some strength. Our VWAP is trying to head back toward the bullish territory, but we're getting lower highs with lower lows currently, making a bearish trend on our VWAP. If that continues, our money flow is likely going to break to the bearish side with this momentum. Over on the 2-hour, we do have a manipulation X that wants to bring us down, but we are trying to form a rounding bottom pattern. If you're not familiar with these rounding bottom patterns, smash that like, hit the subscribe, join us in the Discord, as that's the only way you can get one of our statues that we have for our members. RSI is overall trending out, momentum's in the bearish territory, that VWAP's trying to break to the bullish side, and our money flow is maintaining bullish strength. That stochastic does want to make a bullish divergence here, so as prices get lower lows and our stochastic maintains its lows because it really doesn't have anywhere to go, so it can't make new lows, that does signal price could try to go up, but again, it doesn't really have much lower it can go, so that divergence is bound to happen here. And when you get those divergences in bearish environments, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play out. Our stochastic is trying to push up very strong here on the 1-hour. RSI is trying to trend up. That money flow is maintaining bullish strength, and that VWAP is zigzagging around, but maintaining higher highs with higher lows. So we do have bullish momentum with that VWAP, and money flow is maintaining bullish strength. As long as these two things maintain and are true, it's very likely that 4-hour could start to push off and we could see a break to the higher side. However, if these lower time frames start to roll away here, it's very likely we will start to fill that gap. It does seem like the biggest thing kind of keeping the market hovering in this zone is the hope of Bitcoin ETFs. So unless something very major happens, we may not drop lower, but there is always that 80% possibility. Graph is rounding away, RSI is pushing out, that money flows in the bearish territory, VWAP's in the bearish territory, our momentum is rounding away with a red dot. Our VWAP, momentum, money flow, all in the bearish territory on the daily, not looking the greatest. If we don't get a green candle after this red candle, it's very likely we will push to the downside very strongly. This is a long lower shadow candle and kind of a hammer candle, so it could play out like back here did. Over on the 4-hour, we are trying to trend back up. We are reclaiming above our EMA, so we will want to confirm that cross and continue to push forward to try and break through our other EMAs. RSI is trying to make a bounce here with our stochastic. Our stochastic is running up. If it can break above that 30, our RSI will be able to maintain the bullish strength. VWAP is trying to push to the bullish territory. It's very hard to see, but it has that little bit of peak right there. If it maintains and gets a new high, that could be very positive for us, as that would help bring this momentum up and our money flow back up. The money flow is in a bearish trend, so if that maintains and the VWAP rolls over, we still have that bearish zigzag going that can bring us down. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic is trying to curl away, RSI is trying to push up, that money flow is trying to break through that neutral, our VWAP is trying to continue forward, we have bullish divergence on our momentum, so we do have quite a few bullish indicators here. We are getting stopped out by this EMA level though, so if we are not able to break through this EMA, it's very likely this will be our retest back here, and we could ultimately reject away. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to push above our EMA. We are coming back down for a retest, so I would watch this closely. If we bounce off this EMA and continue forward, we could see that continue across the higher time frames or medium to higher time frames. Our stochastic does have some decent strength here. It really doesn't have much more room to grow, run those, so we could form bearish divergence based off that, kind of like how we made those bullish divergences. RSI is rolling away. VWAP is struggling to break above this 19, which is a pretty high spot it's broken away from a few times in the past. Recent history right here, we did manage to push down, but we pushed up shortly after. Right back here, we got a pretty significant drop, but we did reclaim that zone. So I would watch if we can reclaim this zone or not if we do make a bounce down. If our money flow continues out and pushes lower, we could see continued price action down. Back here, money flow was pushing up. Back here, money flow was in the bullish territory, but it was coming out. So we are going to want to watch things get stronger. Our momentum was also pretty weak at that point back here. Back here, when we kind of tried to push back up, our momentum was coming back up. So, a little bit of differences to keep your eye on. Over on graph on the daily, we are making a rounding top. We are coming down to fill this little bit of a gap we have, so I would watch out if we do break this zone. Stochastic is starting to round away. RSI is starting to round away. Money flow is starting to push out, that VWAP's coming down, and the momentum is rolling over as a result. So it does look like we are retracing some of our gains. If we are not able to break above and push off this zone, we have that gap here, several candle touches that make it a solid support resistance area within our pattern. If we're not able to push off that support zone and we break down and it becomes resistance, it is very likely we could see a break of this flag, fill that gap, and see those lower price targets, especially with that low volume on our volume profile down here. Over on the 4 hour, we are starting to kind of round away. This could end up being a bit of a double top, but we do have a little bit of a gap, so we may try to snap back up. If we do get rejected after snapping back up, then that is where that double top could form and push us lower. Again, it doesn't have to be a clean move. Right back here, we did move down pretty significantly, but looking at the grand scheme of how the pattern went, it is pretty straight, comes back down, goes up, coming back down pretty straight. This is about where the neckline would be, so you would expect a little bit of a retracement off of the support and then a pull back down. So it may end up looking opposite of how this looks. Over on the 4 hour, our RSI is coming out. Stochastic's pushing down. That momentum is pushing out. Money flow is continuing down. That VWAP's in that bearish territory. But that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to push down very violently. Back here we were in the bearish territory. We did push back up. The difference was our money flow is in the bullish territory. So if the money flow maintains bullish strength, we can continue to see price action move forward. However, with the money flow weakening, that is in jeopardy. So I would watch the lower time frames. Over on the 2 hour, we are trying to come back up and retest that gapped area. We do have quite a few EMAs here, so that is going to be a tough spot to kind of break above and hold. We also have a gap here at that almost 2 cent area where we keep forming gaps. So if we come up, fill both these gaps, we could try to make some sort of small ascending triangle That could take forever to play out. That could push us up. Or we could just fill those gaps and then see a pretty steady move down. We do still have lower gaps to fill right back here, and that lower one that's even older. RSI is trending out. That stochastic is pushing down. Stochastic does want to make a rebound. That VWAP's trying to push through that neutral. Money flow is trying to push through that neutral. So if both these things cross bullish, that could help propel us forward and give us that push we need to propel price action away from this flag. Momentum is coming out, so I would take everything with a grain of salt. If we do reject, we could see a bearish trend start and pull us under. So there is that possibility as well. On the 1 hour, RSI is trending away. Stochastic's overall pulling out. Money flow is struggling to break above that neutral, but is still trying. Same with that VWAP. If they can break through and maintain bullish momentum, unlike back here, then we can see a push forward. However, if we get stopped out around this 4 area, 5 area on the bullish side of the money flow, it's very likely we will get a rejection, see some sort of lower low, and push down from there. Over on XRP for the daily, we are rejecting away from our EMAs. RSI is coming out, stochastic's rolling away. That VWAP wants to break through that neutral. Our money flow is rejecting, and the momentum has a red dot pushing down because our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. So not looking too good overall. Over on the 4 hour, we could make some sort of a descending triangle here that could try to push us out. I would watch out for that. Stochastic is pushing out. RSI is trending out. That momentum is in the bearish territory. Our VWAP wants to break to that bullish side, but our money flow is starting a slight bearish trend here. If our money flow solidifies a lower low here, we could see price action to the downside. However, if we bounce and make a higher low, we could try to see some push of bullish momentum to the upside and try to test this red EMA. We did come up, try to retest it, but we did get rejected. Over here on the 2 hour, we did get rejected by that EMA several times today. RSI and stochastic are pushing out. Our VWAP is maintaining bearish momentum right now, and the money flow is flipping into the bearish territory. Our VWAP's getting a red dot pushing out as our money flow and VWAP are falling. If that VWAP continues down, we do have a little bit of a lower low. So if we come back up, try to make a new high and get rejected with a lower high, we could start a bearish trend here. And then the money flow may zigzag and then break to the bearish side. So I would watch out for that to happen. Over on the 1 hour here, this could be a descending triangle forming. We do have manipulation X's that want to bring us out. This one is working on bringing us down. They are working pretty decently alone. Our stochastic has bearish divergences that want to bring us down. RSI is heading out. Money flows in the bearish territory. It was not able to maintain any strong bullish strength. That VWAP is starting to roll away, and the momentum is starting to push out as a result. If this VWAP makes a newer low, it could start a bearish trend, and this money flow could start to crash out. If both those things happen, our medium to higher time frames could start to get weakened, and we can see price action continue to the downside. Over on Algo for the daily, we are trying to reject a retest of our pattern, so we are confirming a breakdown. RSI is coming out. That stochastic has a bearish cross. Our money flow is rejecting that neutral. It's coming down. If it makes a new low, we would have a bearish trend. That VWAP is pushing down, and the momentum has a red dot and is rolling under. So I would watch tomorrow's candle. If we break down below this area, then we could see lower price action, especially since there's almost no volume here to help prop us up. Over on the 4 hour, we are rejecting this EMA again, so I would watch out. This stair step to the downside could resume and continue. RSI is trending out. Stochastic says beat down as it can get. and money flow is pretty deep in the bearish territory, so it's bound to rebound. But if it maintains this bearish momentum, we're bound to see price action go sideways and possibly see a breakdown after some time, kind of like back there. Our momentum is pretty flat. It really doesn't have much lower it can go, and our VWAP is pretty flat. So if this VWAP can get new highs and break around this 15 zone, we could see price action snap back up. However, if this VWAP rejects and pulls under, then we are likely going to continue down. I would watch the lower time frames as we're at a pretty pivotal spot. RSI is overall trending out here, stochastic is overall trending out, that VWAP's nowhere to be found, and the money flow is in a bearish trend and maintaining a bearish range between this -11 and -18. The momentum does have bullish divergence that wants to push up, but again, you see those in bearish environments. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic's starting to round away with a lower high, so it could try to push us under. We are starting a bearish cross just now. RSI is trying to pull under. We are breaking that EMA. Money flow is curling away, and that VWAP wants to break to the bearish side after rejecting lower highs. If this VWAP falls bearish here, and we see continual red candles from here, it's very likely we will see lower price action. Over on Doge, again, since it's Wednesday and Saturday are our meme days. We are pushing below our EMA, stochastic's rounding away. RSI is falling down, money flow is coming out. Again, if you haven't already, smash that like, hit the subscribe, and I'd like to see some more of you in the Discord so I can make some more of these Reaper statues for you guys. Our momentum has a red dot that wants to pull under, and that VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, which is giving us that red dot and that momentum. If we continue down from here, it's very likely we will see continued downside, see this pattern play out, and overall we are rejecting a range. We did come up, try to retest the 6 cent zone, and we did get rejected. Over on the 4 hour, we are trying to push above our EMA. We can't quite get above it. We'll have to watch if we can get a strong green candle after this. Otherwise, it's likely we could push under. RSI is trying to trend up. Our stochastic wants to make a bullish cross. That money flow wants to go through that neutral, and our VWAP wants to go bullish. The momentum's trying to curl up here, so that will be dependent on that VWAP crossing. If the lower time frames, this VWAP and money flow are starting to pull away from bullish territory with lower highs, we could see price action start a bearish trend and break us even lower. Over on the 2 hour, we're overall sliding pretty decently. We're not in any kind of a straight down channel though, so that doesn't make a bullish case for us. RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to run up. Our VWAP and money flow want to break through, and our momentum's getting a double green dot, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll shoot to the moon. Back here we got a double green dot and we went pretty flat. Over on the 1 hour, we are rejecting a higher EMA after trying to push to an even higher one. If we break below our lowest EMA here, it's very likely price action to the downside will resume. Our stochastic is trying to push up. Our VWAP is kind of running out, so we're hitting this 19 zone where we have rejected before. If we do not push through the zone, which it's not very likely, then we're probably going to see money flow and price action start to pull away here. The momentum does want to come up, but with that VWAP starting to curl, that could be in jeopardy. So I would watch if we get some green candles following this red candle, that curl could get invalidated. But if you see some red candles follow this, we're likely going to see that curl happen and a push to the downside. Over on SHIB for the daily, I'm not sure why I zoomed way the heck in. We are starting to push down to a support zone, so we may be forming some sort of a flag within the bottom of our previous flag. We do have a bit of a rounding top. Stochastic is starting to get a bearish cross and round away. RSI is starting to round away. That VWAP's pushing down into that bearish territory. Our money flow is maintaining bearish strength. That momentum's getting a red dot pushing us lower. So overall, this VWAP is doing that zigzag with money flow maintaining decent bearish action. Until our money flow starts to resume or turn away from this trend and resume bullish action, then it's very likely we will continue price action to the downside. Over on the 4-hour, we did try to get a scam wick through, tried to break through into our previous pattern, but we got rejected. We are seeing price action move down pretty decent. We are getting bearish crosses on our EMAs. RSI is heading out, stochastic's pretty beat down. Our money flow is maintaining a bearish trend, and that VWAP is starting to pull away from that neutral. Overall, if these things maintain, then we are likely going to see continual price action down. RSI is trying to bounce here on the 2-hour. Our stochastic does want to run up. Our VWAP is trying to break through the bullish side, but our money flow is still in a bearish trend here with lower highs and lower lows. So if we're not able to break through this EMA on the next couple candles, it's very likely we will just roll back over like we've done several times. Finally, on the 1-hour, we are pulling away from that EMA after trying to break above and we were not able to hold. Stochastic is running up, RSI is coming down, that VWAP's making lower highs, and the money flow is maintaining a bearish trend. If that VWAP comes back into the bearish territory, we're going to see that zigzag maintain, and that money flow is going to drag us lower. Momentum does have a double green dot, but that doesn't necessarily mean too much here. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.